There's the dash. It is sanded down and primed. I've got to paint it today. It's hanging upside down. I've got it cleaned up. There was some rust and pitting and some small holes on the side, and I had to do like I did on the frame and take JB Weld and fix that. And I've got to go back over it with some 220 and then paint it, get the dash in, and then I can get some other things done to it that need to be done. I'm going to try to get the decals ordered within the next week or so. And on the tractor, I've got the grill put in, got it bolted in. I've got to tighten 2 of the bolts yet. I made my rods for the support, and I made them about 1 3/4 inches longer. I measured it and made one, and then made the other one to match the first one, and bolted them in, and they matched right up, which tells me everything's nice and square. And I got the wiring done. I'll come around here and show you. I told you when I was putting this in that I may not have much clearance. There is about 1/8 of an inch there, and hopefully I won't have any trouble with that moving around or anything. It seems to be real solid. Got my new battery in, and the cable runs down. I've got to put the cap on it there. Runs right down to the starter solenoid. Just perfect. The ground down to the frame. And then I cut the old switch off and wired in the factory switch. Now this is not the switch that came off this tractor. This is another switch that I had. This is the switch that came off my son's tractor that we blew up and parted out. I had just replaced this switch on his tractor before that had happened. And so we've got this ready to go in. The threaded part of the other switch, I would have had to drill out my dash to make it bigger. And I didn't want to do that. I wanted to run the factory switch in. And I've got all the wires underneath there nice tied up and clean. And it took me a little bit to figure out what went where. And temporarily I got these attached together. Well, this goes down to the lights. I got it covered so it doesn't get against the ground. These two. These go to my alternator gauge, or my amp gauge, excuse me. The amp gauge. And I got them tied together so I can start it. So I get this dash painted today and it's set up. I'll get it mounted and get the rod that goes from here back to the dash cut. I'll have taken 1 3/4 inches out of it. On this side of the tractor, I cleaned up and have reassembled the mule drive for the mower deck. And it was nasty. Let me show you what it looked like before. This is the one that came off of this tractor. There's the mule drive. And these pulleys are all but frozen up. That one will turn a little bit, and that one won't turn. And the one that it wasn't much better than that. The pulleys were free though. And then, oh, here's the lever that came off of, I think this one's off of the parts tractor. And they're pretty rusty, crusty, nasty. And I got those cleaned up and painted. Got those assembled. My buddy told me about the drains it hose. And to make it easy changing the oil on this, I added that in. I thought that was a nice touch. Be able to just pull it right out and drain it and clip it back in. Next step is my muffler. I got the cover off of it. And I think I'm going to try to put some type of pipe to curve around and blow it out here on the side. Alright, that's all for now. I'll do some more when I get the dash painted and on it. Alright, I got the dash on, and I temporarily set this fender pan on the tractor. This is the one I had from another tractor, and I'm going to put it on the diesel when I redo it. It's not in bad shape. It's been repainted, and it's set up in my attic, and it's got a coating of dust on it, and it's just, I don't know if I can clean that off or not. I also got the hood down, and it's in about the same situation. I'm probably going to go ahead and strip down and paint the hood that came on this tractor. Like I said, and I've got the steering wheel set on there temporarily. I can't really finish the dash out until I get the decals, but I've got it on there. I've got the bolt stuck through. I got my rod cut. I've got to re-weld it back together, the support rod that goes across here, and I had to take just a little bit over 1 3/4 out of it, which is, I had to take a little more than, add a little bit more than 1 3/4 to these. So here's where we are. I got the throttle cable hooked up, and I may shorten it. I don't like the way it's run like that. I may reroute the cable. I got the ignition put in temporarily, and I tried to start it in the earlier video, and I couldn't do it holding the camera and start it with the switch out of it. So I'm going to try to start it now and see what happens. That cracking you just heard was my knees, by the way. It's what happens when you get old. Make sure I got the gas on here. All right. I'm going to run this thing just a little bit more and change the oil. The secret to these Honda clone engines is, I guess any new engine really, is to change the oil frequently. When I was a mechanic and I rebuilt a couple of engines, that was the key, the lubrication, especially when you first put them together. And the milling that they do on these engines, when you run that oil, if you drain it out, you'll probably notice it looks almost a little bit milky. And I think that's from the milling. And if you're able to change the oil frequently, my camera to focus here, if you change the oil frequently, it helps the longevity of these tractors, especially the first 50 to 100 hours. You can't change them too frequently. I got a belt for it yesterday, and it was a little bit too short. I guesstimated at it. I got a 71-inch belt. The one I took off of it was a 73, and I thought about 2 inches shorter would do, but it was just a little too tight. So I'm going to swap it out for a 72 maybe later today. Get the belt on there, and I won't be able to drive it around just yet. Again, I've got to get the decals ordered for this thing. Just wanted to give you an update on where I am. I'm trying to do as many videos of the process as I can and show you what's going on. What I have left to do is to finish the fender pan. Like I said, I'm not going to use this one. I'm going to use the original. Got a couple of little dents yet to knock out. Finish sanding, prime, and paint. Got to do the 2 running boards and the rear hitch plate. And then, of course, I've got to do something with the hitch. When I get to the hitch for this tractor, I'll show you what I'm facing. It's got some wear to it, and I've got some ideas on how to fix that. So we'll see how that goes. But got to get the hitch plate painted. Go ahead and paint the lower arms. I'm going to take all that apart and get that mounted back on. Alright, I'll go ahead and upload this video maybe later today. And then as progress continues, we'll keep you updated. Thanks for your interest in my project, and hope you have a wonderful day.